Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be watching a video called Cycling Around Delft, checking out Dutch cycle infrastructure. So I think if anyone knows in the world knows how to do, how to build cycling, bicycle lanes and stuff, are the Dutch, because they're born with already riding bikes. So I would obviously assume that they also have the infrastructure, and it's not just Amsterdam, it's just all over the Netherlands. So I'm guessing Delft, it's a city, a town in the Netherlands. I've never heard of it, but I don't really know a lot of places there. So I'm guessing it's it's a city, and obviously again it has great infrastructure, and I'm guessing because it doesn't really matter, because I think a lot of places, a lot of a lot of countries, it tends to happen that in more rural places, when there's a lot of countryside, a lot of it's just the rural places where usually there's you have a lot of farming and stuff. In those places, they tend to have because they're more rural, they tend to have less stuff than the city. Usually, I think that's the case for a lot of countries. But I think in the Netherlands, they don't care. Yes, you're in the country, but you're still gonna have great bicycle lanes. So I'm guessing that's gonna be the case here. I don't know. But let's check it out and comment, subscribe, and start.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Crazy Cycling channel. I'm currently in the Netherlands, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys some of the bike-specific infrastructure they have over here, and part of what makes this country so great for cycling and cyclists. And hopefully this will help promote some of these ideas to other places and help make cycling more accessible and safer in other parts of the world.
He's in a beautiful place.
Okay, so I apologize again for the wind noise, but I've got the chest mount on, and I'm basically just going to go for a cycle, and we'll take a look at some urban areas and some rural areas, some bigger streets, smaller streets, and different types of intersections as well. But this is a really typical situation. This is basically a segregated cycle path. You can see there's a road on my left, but there is a two-way cycle path on this side of the street, and there's a two-way path on the other side of the street as well. And basically these paths are designed to give you a lot of priority. So basically I have priority here, except for at this crosswalk where I have to yield to pedestrians. And if I see yield signs on the ground, which I'll show you in a few minutes. I also don't have priority over trams. But one of the biggest things with Dutch bike infrastructure is that bikes tend to have priority. So here's an example of yield signs.
That's the thing, yeah, it's about priority.
You can see these white triangles there, and that means that the cars would have to yield to any bikes in the bike path. Sometimes you also see those in bike paths for bikes to have to yield. It just sort of depends on the situation. I'll see.
Is that like a bicycle parking lot on the side?
Just a few minutes here. And here again, a crosswalk. So we're going to yield to the pedestrians.
Pedestrians, yeah. You have to stop here.
Carry on.
Or not? Okay.
On our way, and you can see that this path is separate from both the car traffic and the pedestrian traffic.
Where are people walking actually?
Motorized scooters are sometimes allowed on these paths. Here's a case of yield signs for the bikes, but no one's coming from my left, so I get to go. And we're also
I thought they were going to merge with the cars.
Large roundabout here with bike paths all around, so I'm going to turn left, and you can see it even in the roundabout. The car traffic all has to yield to me. I'd have to yield to a tram here, but the car traffic all has to yield to the bike traffic. So we'll just go left. And you can see where this guy went, but there's yield signs there for that van to wait for me. Same here, the scooter should wait, which he is. The police is waiting. We're going to indicate left and back round the roundabout.
It's following the rules in this car as well.
So again, you can see even a busy, complicated intersection like this really prioritizes bikes. Coming up, we see again the yield markings on the ground, so people coming towards me would have to yield. And we see the pedestrian crossing there. And now we're on the other side of the street that I was on earlier, and again a two-way bike path on this side of the street as well. And we're
I love that they have one way and the other
segregated from the foot traffic, and it just makes it really convenient and easy to cycle everywhere. You won't always find two-way paths, but they are pretty common. It just kind of depends on the specific situation.
Okay, yeah. Are there others where you have like the other in the other opposite side of the road? It's
All right,
the
let's
other.
turn
It's
right.
the
You
other.
can see this
It's
guy
the
also
other way.
indicating.
Ah, I thought it was gonna crash against that other bike.
And
Okay.
here we have something really interesting. This is a bicycle
What?
road. That's what the blue sign there says. This is a bicycle road
Okay.
where cars are allowed. So this is a road
Oh
specifically
my god, that's scary.
designed for bikes to have priority.
Oh my god, but
It
there's a
actually says
car.
Cars as guests. So you'll see that quite often as well, especially in new subdivisions
as
areas
guests.
like this, where they really want to encourage bikes over cars, which is just fantastic.
Yeah. This seems like a normal road.
Here's an
Is this
example
a
of where
bicycle
we
lane?
technically have to yield because of those signs, but the
Oh, yeah,
car's
the
yielding
point,
to us
yeah.
anyway, and that's
Yeah, the triangle points to
because
you.
in the Netherlands, if there's an accident involving a bike and a car, the car is assumed to be at fault by default.
Guilty?
And here we are again on
Oh
this
my god, really?
Fietsstraat, this bicycle road where cars are allowed, but bikes have priority. Okay, now we're coming up to an intersection with no yield signs. And in a case like this,
Okay, so what do
the
you
traffic on the
do?
right has priority. So if someone was coming from my right, I'd have to yield to them. In this case, there's nobody there,
No one.
so I get to go. And I'd have priority over people
that a
coming
canal?
from the left.
Oh, that's
And,
so pretty.
that's the case, whether you're on a bike road
Oh my god, there's a
or
little boy
car
on a
road.
bike.
That's just really typical. That's just a European rule, but it's applied pretty frequently in places like the Netherlands, Germany, places like that. If there's no sign indicating otherwise, you have to
It's a
yield
ride.
to traffic coming from your right. All right, now we're coming up to some different kinds of intersections again. So first of all, let me turn left here. This is just a normal road crossing, so I'll turn left.
Wait, can
and
he
this car
turn left?
should yield to me. He didn't, but
Okay, yeah.
in general, those yield
He's not
signs
following
again
the rules.
mean that the cars do have to yield to you. And now we'll turn around
Technically.
and go the other way. Back through the same intersection again. There's a
No
yield sign
one.
there, which means I'd have to yield to traffic from my right. And here we are in a signal control intersection, which is green right now. And that means
And it's for,
obviously I
is
can
it for
go.
bikes? It's like
But
a
if you
traffic
see
sign for
a
bikes.
red bike light, that means you have to stop.
You have to stop.
And now we're back on this relatively large
Oh my god, I've never seen like a
bike
traffic light
path.
for bikes.
And bike paths in the Netherlands are normally
Oh, I love this area. It's so
this
pretty.
brick red color. Not always,
Oh my god, I love
but
those
if you
trees.
see this brick red pavement,
It's
a
bicycles.
pretty good guarantee that you're on a bike path. And you can see here that this bike path is at least as big as the road off to my left.
Yeah.
But this
It
is a
is very
major
wide.
thoroughfare here, whereas that's just residential area. And it looks like
Yeah,
we
but guess
have
those are houses.
a closed bridge because we're waiting for a ship to
Oh my god.
underneath.
Oh my god. I love that. I love that. Where's the ship? Oh, okay. You didn't have to wait. I wanted to see. Oh, I wanted to see the ship, and I wanted to see them like lowering down the bridge. It's so funny how everyone has to wait.
Okay, so here's an example of where the bike path is not made of asphalt, but
Oh yeah,
of
it's
these
like little.
pavers.
Ugh.
But
Yeah, this
same
doesn't
idea
look
here.
that
There's still a
nice.
center line. It's still clear that it's a bike path. It basically
Yeah, but
looks
it's
the
not that
same.
comfortable.
And here we're coming up to a rather large signal-controlled intersection. So let's go ahead and we'll cross this intersection. So in a sec, I'll just take a right and show you how this works.
Yeah, like there's
So we'll take a
no
right
road.
here.
You have to take the right.
And looks like we've got a button to press to help speed along this signal.
Oh, okay. Are
I've
those,
got
does
a
those
red
things
light
actually work?
there, and if it's red, I shouldn't cross. Now it's green.
Oh, okay. It definitely
And,
worked.
yeah, now we just have priority again.
Yeah.
And then we'll take a right there. Sorry, there's people behind me, which kind of stresses me a little bit.
Yeah, like he's speeding up. Like, I'm sorry, I'm recording a video. Like, if you're late for work, pass me. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, he went super fast. But yeah, I get it.
Okay, so
It's
now
like,
I
there's
thought
people
I'd show you
behind
more
me.
of a residential area. And on little
this
streets
is
like this, there
residential?
might not always be a bike path, but that's pretty
look
much
like
because it's not
suburbs.
really needed. There are so few cars here that you don't really
Well,
need a segregated path.
There's a lot of
And
cars
also,
here that I'm
you can
seeing.
maybe see that the way this road is designed is to slow cars down. For example, these markings here
Oh, the
at
things,
bump
yeah.
are designed to just slow cars down.
Yeah.
You'll also see that the road is quite narrow, and in a lot of places you'll just see that the road isn't straight. There are actually obstacles in the way which force you to go around them, and
What
all
kind
of
of
that
obs- what
slows
kind of
drivers
obstacles?
down. Also, you can see at the end of the road here, there's another raised area, which is basically another obstacle just to get cars to slow
Slow you
down as they
down.
pull onto this main road here. Here's another example of a residential area, and here you can see what I was talking about earlier, that this road is not straight, it's very narrow, and you also have these raised areas which are all
Are cars
designed
supposed to go that
to
way?
slow cars. And then the road coming up is
Okay.
a one-way to the left, but the sign says
What do you do if
bikes
you have an
can
SUV?
turn right, so I'm
You
going
can
to do
fit
that
it in
because
here.
of the wind. So I'll go over this raised area,
Oh my god.
take a right,
Oh my god, what's that
And-
sound?
you can once again see that there's traffic calming here as well. You can see the lines painted on the speed bump, and up ahead where the bridge is, there are some lines as well. Now, this first of all, this just turns into a bike path, so the blue sign means this is not for cars anymore. But you
Oh yeah, I
also
can see it. Yeah,
the
this
white
this
lines,
giant thing.
but in this case, they are probably an optical illusion. No, I think there's a bit of a bump there as well, but these signs do exaggerate that and really just help
they do
slow
it on
people
purpose.
down. In this case, it's
Yeah.
helping slow bikes down. And you also saw there that at that intersection, I basically had full priority again over anyone coming from either side because I was on the bike path. More traffic calming here. This is very common at nearly all intersections between small roads.
Because I'm guessing this is
Here
a
again,
suburban
same thing.
area.
An intersection with a raised area to slow the cars down, and the pattern carries on at pretty much every intersection on this street. So it's just really designed to make the roads friendly for users other than cars. And by the way, I think the speed limit is 30 kilometers an hour, which is about 18 miles an hour.
For
So
bikes?
much slower than speed limits in, say, the US, for example.
For cars.
Here's another example of a different sort of a bike path. The way you know this is a
Again.
bike path is because of
Okay,
the
it's bikes only.
blue sign with the picture of the bicycle and the motor scooter on
So,
it.
well, because it's
So
very
even
small,
though
cars cannot fit in here.
It's not that classic red asphalt. It's clearly indicated that this
Oh
is
my
for
god, it's true.
bikes.
They should paint it.
and
Oh my
not
god,
for cars.
there's a canal like to the side. I haven't noticed. Oh my god, this is so nice.
And here you see
oh my
that
god, a
the
guy with
bike
like
path is
sun
ending.
on a bike.
And the red round sign with the white line means no entry.
Is
So
that a
I'm gonna go left.
house? Like right next to the
And
canal.
that sign, by the way, applies to all traffic unless
Oh my god, a dog.
there is a sign underneath which says bikes are exempt, and that's usually the case. This was kind of a special case where all traffic was banned, and that's really probably because the road is so narrow.
Yeah, like cars cannot fit in there comfortably.
So the town I'm in here is called Delft, if I didn't mention that before. And you can see that there are actually quite a lot of cars parked on the side of this road.
They are.
We're getting closer to the center here, and you can see there is a sign with basically a red circle on it. And
Where?
it also says camera controlled. And that sign actually says that cars are not allowed. It's a pedestrian zone. It says bikes are allowed, but no scooters, no mopeds, nothing like that. So
Oh
this
yeah, I
is
get. Yeah, the
just gonna be
pavement. There's no
really nice
pavement.
and peaceful. Obviously, pedestrians have priority over me,
It's like
but
cobblestones.
this just makes this town really, really livable. So let's, yeah, just cycle through here carefully.
They're like doing their
because we don't wanna run anyone over.
shopping.
Maybe not go through where the market is.
Yeah, it's very
But you can
busy
see the
with
fact
people doing
that
their shopping.
there are no cars here makes it just so that people can walk. Everyone's out and about. It's so much nicer than a car-centric city.
Is that a like touristy thing?
And now we come up to a zone which is pedestrian priority. So that sign
does
there
he know
across from
that?
me says pedestrian zone, but bikes
Okay.
are allowed. So now,
Okay, that explains
now we're
it.
really getting into where it's explicit that pedestrians have priority. And as you can see, it's pretty hard to cycle here. So I'm going to get off my bike and actually turn around. Let's just have a quick look at the center of Delft here, and then we'll carry on. But this is the market
that's the
square.
center.
It's obviously car free, except that delivery
I'm
drivers are
guessing that's
obviously
a
allowed, like
church.
that van over
It's
there.
gorgeous.
That's the new church to the right there. And we'll just do a quick look around here, then carry on with the video. Got the city hall over on that side,
I love this.
And
This is so
shops.
gorgeous.
all around. But
It's a very like
yeah, if
Dutch
you're ever in the Netherlands, I'd
architecture.
highly recommend Delft. But now let's go check out a bit more.
Weird
infrastructure.
little pink structure. It looks like a
So
bunny.
here again, we're basically in a pedestrian zone where cyclists are allowed. You can see there are a couple bikes here, but really if it's too busy like this, probably best to get off and just walk. But again, the key
Yeah, it's
thing
not that comfortable.
is that cars are just not allowed at all. So really great way of making a city instantly livable. Just ban the cars. And you also get a better perspective of the town. I can see all the buildings. I can walk down the center of the street. I'm not confined to some pavement along the side of the street, like to some, yeah, like I would in plenty of other places I can think of all around the world. All right, so there was a lot going on back there. It's Saturday, it's
Okay.
market day, and I would
Okay,
have
so
loved
it's
to
like,
have shown you
let's
more,
move on.
but we're here for infrastructure. So onwards
It's
and
true.
upwards. Let's go look at a couple more things.
It's not like a tourist
Back
video.
onto a
There's a purpose
Bike
here.
bridge only here, and
Ah! Oh my god, the stones.
now we come into a bike path which is made of pavers rather than asphalt, but it's basically
I don't like that.
the exact same idea.
Yeah, but it's so
Just the material
uncomfortable.
changes so it looks a little bit nicer.
Do you think it's nicer? I think
Here's
it's
just
more
another
comfortable with
example
the bike.
of just a two-way bike path along the side of a road, and you could just see that these are extremely common, and it's just very, very easy, very direct. You don't have to stop for cars all the time. You're
Yeah, you can
safe.
just move
I mean,
on.
you can see no one's wearing a helmet. It's just a really, really good design. So here's just another example of a different sort of a material for a bike path. This is just a different kind of a paver, but again, that typical red color. And there's also some traffic calming here. So again, the white painted lines and a bit of a dip just to slow down the cyclists as well. So they don't just slow down cars in this country, they also kind of try to slow down cyclists as well. And they use
It's
a lot
everyone.
of like nudging and social engineering kind of techniques, because again, these
Social
white lines are a
engineering.
very visual reminder to slow down.
Hmm.
And just a lot of the way the colors are and the width of things and the shape and the design of things is there to get people to behave in a certain way. You know, to slow down in a lot of cases.
Like, to call you
and to take
call your
care.
attention and be like,
And that
whoa.
applies to car infrastructure as well as bike infrastructure. We've just got more obviously delineated infrastructure here, the bike path on the left, a rumble strip, and then the pedestrian infrastructure on the right there. So here we are coming up to a cycle-only bridge, which is another really cool thing. You can see this is totally segregated from the road.
Oh my god, it looks
Way
like a
out to the
highway.
left.
I'm so scared. Where
And,
is this going?
Again, this is a 4-meter wide path, typical Dutch cycle path size. It's red.
This is extremely
two-way
beautiful,
traffic.
I have to say.
And just exceedingly safe, exceedingly efficient, and just really, really nice.
Exceedingly beautiful.
But I'm going to stop here and we'll actually take a look at an intersection just from above. A pretty simple one, but
Oh my god,
just to
it's
get an
crazy to
idea
see the
of
cars like below.
kind of how it works as bikes go through it. Okay, so here we are looking at just one example of a Dutch intersection from above.
Oh my god, it's sold
In this
only. There's
case,
no
just
one.
a signal controlled one. This isn't a roundabout or anything fancy like that.
No, it's
but
just
you can
like
still see
healed.
that there are brick red areas for bikes, and then the gray areas for cars, and the paved areas, the areas paved with bricks, are actually for pedestrians. And in
Where-
theory,
I can't
there
even
shouldn't
see
be much
where the
bike traffic
pedestrians-
down there because I'm on
Where
a
do
bike
the
path, so
pedestrians go?
most through traffic should be on this bridge, but there still are places for bikes, and basically everything is just very, very safe. So this intersection is signal controlled, so basically you just go when you have a green light, but there are buttons to press if you're a cyclist, which speeds up the signal for you.
Oh my god, I want a bike. I want to see it there.
There are appropriate yield signs depending on where you're coming from and who you are. So there are some yield lines down there for the cars, but that's mainly for the oncoming car traffic. There's actually some yield signs for the bikes over there, which you do see sometimes.
Oh my god, yes, I hadn't noticed.
But in theory, the bike shouldn't need to use those because they have a signal right there. So as long as the signal is green, you can just go straight across. And there's just different signal phases for the cars, the bikes, and the pedestrians, which just helps keep everyone safe and separated. No one's really using this intersection right now, so I can't really show you people crossing it.
Yeah, there's no one.
But the main priority here is
just a lot of cars,
safety and separation of traffic. Okay, I also want to tell you guys a little bit about rural areas. So here I am in the countryside, and you can see even this road has a crossing for the bike path. There are yield lines or yield triangles
little pain,
for
but
the bike path here. And this country road even has a bike path on it, which some do, some
it's
don't.
So pretty.
Along with some traffic calming over there. And you can also see our signage. We have the blue circle with the bike and the moped on it, which means
I love how everything's so flat.
And
oh my god, okay, look, this is beautiful. It looks like autumn.
This side. And then just a little word to navigation, because what you will often find in the Netherlands is maps like this with numbers on them.
Okay, what is
that? And you can actually navigate across the whole country just using these numbers. So you can see here, this is where I am. I'm at number 61, Delft. Rotterdam is down there, and The Hague is up here. But if I wanted to get to, say, Rotterdam, I can just plot that I want to go to 81, 63, 68, 53, 52.
Oh my god, like a bus?
50, 79.
Oh my god, okay,
10,
like a
59,
car.
Etc. And then you'll find numbers like,
oh my god, they have a canal?
like this one here, which then point out the next number to go to.
Okay,
and
like
I thought I'd show you guys a little more signage here.
Go.
So over there,
it's raining. Of course, it's raining. It's in the Netherlands.
Those are directional signs for bicycles. So it's showing the Hook Holland to the right, station to the left, etc. And then over here, you can see a green arrow pointing to the number 52, and those are the numbered cycle routes I was talking about earlier, where you can just navigate using numbers. And 52. I didn't mention it, but there's also an app that allows you to plan a route just based on the numbers. And there's another similar sign.
I love that. I think it's better than this
the red arrows
situation.
Over there.
Kind of confusing.
And finally, just straight in front of the camera, over there, we have a blue sign with a bicycle on it, which indicates that that is a bike path. So if you're going to promote cycling through the appropriate infrastructure, you're obviously going to have to provide a place for people to park their bikes as well. And in the Netherlands, you can usually park on streets, tie your bike to a lamppost or bike rack, something like that.
Okay, like whatever.
But more and more, they are creating separate underground bike parking facilities to try and get some of the bikes off the street, because there are just so many of them. So we're going to take a look at an underground bike park now, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'll try and sneak the GoPro in, but this is just one example of the kind of bike parking you might see in the Netherlands. Basically, you'll find bikes everywhere in this country. Yeah, it's like there's so many. We literally have to go underground. Area, obviously easy access through some
for bikes.
A network of bike paths here.
Where's the bike actually? Why is he on foot? Where's the bike?
Repair shop in here, along with a place to get some free air. But this bike parking area here has space for 5,000 bikes. And
I'm so confused about this situation, how it works.
That's what the red sign says. But you can just see that it's mostly double-decker bike racks.
And do you just put it there?
We have 3 large rooms like this with double-decker parking for the bikes, plus another bike parking area. So this is just one example of what you might see.
And you have your little
this is a lot of bikes. But if you think about what this is like compared to something like a car park. I mean, think about how much space you need to fit 5,000 cars.
Yeah, of course.
So it's actually really
it's more practical,
space efficient. Pretty cool. Here's just another example of some bike parking. In this case, when there aren't adequate provisions You can
Yeah,
see
you
what
just,
happens.
like,
People
put
just
it
park their
there.
bikes anywhere, but this is also a really typical site here in the Netherlands.
That's where they get stolen.
All right,
Like,
guys, well, the
they're
rain's
just
coming down pretty
everywhere.
hard now, so I think that's probably about all I can show you. But I hope you enjoyed that little insight into the Dutch cycling system. There's a lot more to talk about here. And maybe I'll do some more videos a little later on my tour. But hope you enjoyed that for now. Thanks as always for watching. Take care and have a great rest of your day.
Okay, so I love how everything like changed, like the weather changed at the last minute. Like it's very funny because I'm guessing obviously it was all like the same day in the same like the hour. So it's crazy that, you know, everything was like this beautiful day, very sunny, very beautiful. It looked like autumn at some point, and then all of a sudden it's like super rainy. The guy's super wet. It's like, okay, well, I guess the video's over because, you know, it's super wet. I can't really show you anymore. But that was really funny, and it's very like cliche of like the Netherlands, so it's raining. But yeah, I love this. I love this. It was Delft, you know. Yeah, he said it's like a city that I think is like in the center. Well, not really in the center, like in the middle, sort of like in the, well, sort of like down below as well, like in the I think it was in the west. But whatever, like very very beautiful place. I have to say, I love that everything, like the architecture itself, not even just like the bicycle thing. Like the architecture looked beautiful. I love all the canals. I love the canals and the little bridges and so many trees. Like I loved it. And then it was like the rural part, very flat, which I think it's hilarious. I love seeing like very flat places because it's very weird not seeing any mountains, and it's kind of like weird. But I loved it. It was very beautiful. I can almost imagine like someone milking a cow there because it looks very like, I don't know, very countryside, but it looks gorgeous. But and then I love the fact that this rural place with again, like well, I was gonna say like there was like a barn. No, I didn't really saw a barn, but again, it's like you can almost picture like a cow there. And they had like this incredible, like even like the bicycle lane. I do have to say it was a little like it needed a little maintenance. I'm not gonna lie. Like the paint was a little like it seen better days. So I'm not gonna lie. I think they should definitely paint it. But you know, it's there, like the infrastructure is there and completely functional, like functional. I'm just saying like the paint thing because it's like, well, you know, compared to the ones like in the city, I think they look like the ones in the city look like they're in a better shape. So it's like I'm nitpicking, but like it looked like great. Like I don't think there's a lot of countries that I can say that their rural countryside has like this incredible like bicycle links that connect you like all over the city and all over the country. It's crazy what he said. Like I can go to like Rotterdam or The Hague, which they looked very far away. I have to say, he didn't really mention like how long it would take you to actually like bicycle to those places to ride your bike there. But it's possible, it's doable. Like otherwise they really wouldn't tell you. So it's crazy. Or you can just like, you can sleep in a hotel. Like you can just like bicycle around and maybe like make a stop, stay at a hotel and like go around the next day. So it's crazy that you can do that and just by following like the bus. Like it's like, oh yeah, it's the 52 and then it's like the 60 and they'll tell you. The map was a little confusing, but I think that's just me thing in maps. I love the fact that he was like, you also have an app, and probably the app's gonna be more like GPS based, and you can just plan ahead, and you'll say, hey, I want to go from this place to this place, and like tell me what sort of like road I should take. And it's probably easier because I'm guessing it's gonna tell you, yeah, you know, you have to take like the 82, and then you have to connect with the 77 or whatever. But they'll let you know because I'm guessing because it's an app, it has a GPS, so it's like they'll let you know like, hey, turn right here. So obviously I love that. It's perfect. I would love to try one of those things and actually like do one of those like bicycle trips. I don't know how common they are, but I would guess maybe they are quite common because I think you have to take advantage of the fact that it's not that common in a lot of places. I think not in the world. I think this is like the first time that I'm seeing this. So I would guess a lot of people actually do it because it looks very fun. But you know, the whole like the infrastructure, it's crazy. I love the fact that everything's like so organized and so perfectly thought out. You know, all the bicycles, like they have their own like little area. Obviously it's priority, which I think is very important. Like even when there's like cars and pedestrians, he does mention like usually in the Netherlands, like the bicycles do have, you know, they do have priority. So even when there's like pedestrians, you know, in the same sort of like in the same lane, you're going to have a priority if you're, riding around your bike. So it is, it's kind of like very special. And obviously it's like they do it on purpose. That yes, bicycles do have, that sort of like the upper echelon. They're like they're like on top. They're on top of the food chain, and then like, well, I think it's maybe pedestrians and then probably cars. But it's funny that it's like that, because a lot of the things it was like, I'm not even, because I have the priority, so he doesn't even have to think about like even yielding or stopping, or just like I'm gonna maybe like stop a little bit to see if there's cars coming, or there's a pedestrian coming, because he knows. So it's fine. It's like, no, and I'm trusting everyone else to follow the rules, so I don't really have to like stop or anything. I can just go. And it's funny as well, and something super curious, that he was like, yeah, if there's like a crash happening like between a car and a bicycle, they just assume that the car is at fault, which I think it's insane, because it's like, well, yeah, maybe that's what you can assume, but I don't think you can just like jump into conclusions. Like, you have to like, maybe, I don't know, maybe there was like, maybe the one driving around the bicycle, maybe he was tired, maybe he was, I don't know, distracted. But it's hilarious to me and so random that it's like, no, it's like, you're fine. Like, it's the car. Maybe like the person in the car was like, no, come on, I'm like being super strict about my driving, and they're blaming me. I'm guessing maybe you can sue them actually, like, no, come on, I'm not at fault. So maybe they do sort of investigate that, but it's funny that everyone just like says, no, the car's at fault. It's like automatically, which is, because it's like, well, you would guess maybe in a lot of the cases that's the case, but it's not always the case. So it's funny that you just like jump by and like blaming the car. So yeah, I love it. And again, everything's like super, super organized. And I love the fact that there were like there were some things, and I was like, where are the people? Like, where are the bicycles? But I get it, especially like in the bridge part. That it's like, yeah, I get it, because he was like, usually like you have to use the bridge, because again, it's like the most logical place to be. But he's like, even if you're not, like, you have this little like the intersection, like down on the road below with the cars and stuff. But it's like, I couldn't even show you. And yes, he couldn't, because there was like just cars. And I love the fact that everything's so separated. And I think probably that obviously helps in making everything like so seamlessly for both cars, for pedestrians and for bikes, because everything's so like separated that I think everyone keeps, their own lane, no pun intended. So it's like, it's easier, and people do enjoy it more, because again, you're not worried, if you're a car, you're not worried, oh my God, a bicycle crazy person's gonna come here out of nowhere, or a pedestrian is gonna be like, oh no, like a car's gonna run me over. So because everything's like so separated, I think it makes the whole thing like easier, and probably makes it even more enjoyable. Like, it doesn't matter like your way of transport, whether that is like bicycle, your own legs, or a car. So I love the fact, and I think probably that does, I don't know if that contributes, but I think in my brain it does make sense, because everything, so like he said, it's all like segregated, and the fact that everything's segregated, I think makes it easier, and makes the process like seamless, maybe like a little bit more seamless and a little better, because again, he's like, it's very enjoyable, and I can tell, yeah, it was very, very enjoyable. Like the whole trip that he, I think he just went around town. It was lovely, actually. I love it. And again, it was a beautiful day. It was sunny. Like the whole place is beautiful. I love that house that apparently was in the canal. I didn't know that you can just sort of like live in the canal, because it looked like a house. And even if you can't live there, I think there were like buildings, like literally like in front of it. So I didn't know that you could literally like live in front of the canal, which I think it's gorgeous, beautiful. So I loved it. The other place that was a little chaotic was the downtown, and it was like, it's the market. Everyone's like going to doing their shopping, so you're just like, you're in your bike, and you're sort of like, oh my God, it's very crowded. Yeah, that's I think the only sort of like place where you're like, no, leave your bike and walk on foot. I mean, he obviously mentions that. He's like, I think it's easier, obviously, because it's like a very crowded place. It's like a Saturday, so it's like, yeah, sure, that makes a lot of sense. And obviously the whole parking situation, it never ceased to amaze me, like how sort of like weird it is to see all those bikes on top of each other. I have so many questions. Is it cheaper than normal parking for cars? Also, do they give you a ticket? Is it like either an electronic ticket or, an actual, I probably said an electronic ticket, but it's like, how do you know when you're right? Because I think with cars, I think it's different, because obviously you know what your car is. Like I can, I have I know the model, I know the color, like I know several things I can see and say, hey, that's my car. But with bikes, it's like, I don't know, like would you be able to recognize your bike? I don't know. I would be so confused. Like, I don't know, everything looks the same. It's a bike. I don't know. I would paint it a really bright color or something just for me, like, oh, I lost my bike in this giant parking space. So it's like, or do they give you like, no, you have like your own spot. So it's funny, like, but like in one park, unless you lose your car, I'm also like wondering how many people actually lose their bikes. Maybe that's why they usually have like two bikes, because one can get stolen or you can get it lost. So, you know, maybe that's why the Dutch people usually tend to have like, that's why there's more bikes than people. But yeah, I love the video. I wanna go there and bicycle around, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you soon. Bye.